a lot of people, when they are trying to come up with business ideas or they're trying to come up with marketing campaign ideas, the crux is the problem. They start with a problem that they have or that somebody else has, and then the supply side is solving that problem. This approach is great. It solidifies your chances of success because you know that there's a real value proposition there. So it's better than starting with a product concept. Okay, let's just come up with an invention or something and then retroactively trying to figure out what problem to solve with that. So in general, problem-focused thinking is effective. With growth hacking, however, you may want to consider a different approach, because with growth hacking, what we're trying to do is get growth really quickly. By taking the problem-first approach, you will have a viable business, you'll have a viable product, but there's no guarantee that it'll ever become something that explodes. So what we're looking for is explosive opportunities, things that are rapidly changing, and then riding that wave as a growth hacker. The best example of this is Amazon. So Amazon didn't start with the idea that, hey, I can't buy the book that I want, I can't find it. No, where Amazon started was Jeff Bezos is looking at this huge boom that's happening, this internet thing, and then thinking, okay, how do I exploit this big opportunity, this big trend? So then he starts looking at various industries and figures out, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell books. So the beginning of his rationale is, where is the big opportunity? And then figure out the details of what problem I'm going to solve or what I'm going to supply the market with. So some big opportunities that are happening right now is TikTok. TikTok suddenly becomes this huge thing. So as a marketer or a business person, you might start thinking, okay, how do I latch on to this trend? And it might mean selling books on TikTok marketing. Or it may mean just doing marketing through TikTok as a channel. There are lots of ways that you can exploit opportunities like that. Now, Clubhouse is another example. So we're seeing that there are these big opportunities that are sprouting up in audio in general. You know, we're thinking about devices that Amazon's putting out. We're thinking about podcasts, but then suddenly this Clubhouse thing comes up as this kind of revolutionary concept in social media. So you can start thinking about, maybe I could dominate that market. I could be the #1 marketing Clubhouse. Or I could use Clubhouse as a way to suddenly spur my content marketing. Or I could build an integration with Clubhouse. So there are different aspects to this on the product side, on the marketing side, where you're able to exploit a trend. I was talking to a colleague of mine who built a multi-million-dollar software business, and one of the key lessons that he learned from failing with certain products that he built, failing with certain marketplaces, and succeeding with others is this quotation. You want to integrate with a market that is growing. So if you're an early entry into an app store or into a marketplace, you've established yourself, and that's a growing market, you're going to have a bit of at least a temporary competitive advantage as that system grows, as a user base grows. So the question is, how do you find these trends? Well, you can go to websites like Trend Hunter, you could go to Quora, start asking questions, you could go to Facebook groups, etc. But what we're doing is we're trying to think more macro in terms of trends and less micro in terms of specific problems. And of course, you can use Google Trends to figure out and dive more deeply into specific categories that you're interested in exploiting. So for example, here we see the word inclusive has had rapid growth in the last 12 months in terms of search volume. So maybe there's an opportunity to sell clothing that's more inclusive, to do things that are more inclusive, to build campaigns around inclusivity, or any keyword that you find that's trending.